Hey guys, Tyler here. I'm back with another monthly update. The last update overview received some positive reception. Well, more reception than what my videos usually get. The whole process of making that video was enjoyable, so I'm gonna do it again. Let's get into it. I'll start off by talking about the main addition of this update. It's something I have been planning for the entirety of this game's development, actually. Remember when this was supposed to be a game where you complete objectives to win? The fact that I was working on this game for over 6 months and I only just finished implementing the whole point of the game is crazy. Like, the reason I'm making this game is I just wanted to have something to my name after years of failed attempts. This is the furthest I've made it. I wasn't completely starting from scratch. Even though I failed so many times, I did gain some experience. I guess that's what truly matters in the end, and it proves that I wasn't wasting my time. I learned a lot while developing this game, so I'm confident I'll be able to do it better and faster next time. I did come up with several ideas on what game I should make before settling on this one. I wanted to make a game that's short and doesn't take that long to make. You can see how well that turned out. This right here is the game's original concept art. I had a very different idea on what the game was going to be back then. Despite it having a simple premise, I may have overscoped in hindsight. The time it took for me to realize the way I implemented objectives would determine the story of the game was way too long. I mean, I guess it's obvious. The game's story was something I thought about from time to time, but it was never at the top of a list of priorities. I never thought about why the player has to go around completing objectives. So I wrote a basic story for the game. It's not much, but I think it fits. It certainly serves the purpose of explaining why the player has to complete objectives. So you may be wondering, Tyler, what am I looking at? This is a flowchart I made to keep track of the game's surface level mechanics, their features, and how they are tied to each other. I know this is hard to read, so let me give you a couple examples. The behavior of familiars is tied to the actions of the player and the enemies. Sub-weapons and the healing of familiars are tied to the player's morale. A feature can be connected to multiple other features. For instance, the usage of the familiar's special ability is tied to the player's stamina and health. Which gives me a nice segue to talk about another thing I changed. I made it so that familiar abilities cost the player stamina. If the player has insufficient stamina, their health will be used instead. I did this because I thought that using the player's health would be too costly and to give stamina another use. To balance it out, I increased the rate of which stamina ticks up or down so it would regen slower. This has the side effect of allowing the player to run for a longer time than usual. Expect more balance changes in the future. I just think it's funny. Originally, familiars would have their own separate resource called mana, which would be used to activate their abilities. I guess the player's stamina and how it works is kind of reminiscent of that. It's crazy how things went full circle. If we go back to the flow chart that was shown earlier, yes, I know you're already tired of seeing it. You may notice that a feature about the player is missing. I removed armor from the game. There's just not many interesting things I could do with it. It doesn't really interact with any other mechanic in the game, and it felt like something I just tacked on without much thought. At least by doing this, there's one less value that the player has to keep track of, so there's that. When I removed armor from the game, I took the opportunity to redesign the HUD. I've always liked the segmented life bar design from games like Castlevania. The decision to refer to the player's health as life is inspired by NES games as well. I remember taking a lot of time redesigning the life HUD. I really wanted to get this right. I'm quite satisfied with the final design. Okay, enough stalling. Let's actually talk about objectives. Every time you start a new game, you'll be assigned a number of objectives to complete. The odds of getting a high amount of objectives are lower than the chances of getting a small amount. There's only one objective for now, and it's where you have to obtain a special item. What item you'll have to obtain is random along with their spawning location. They will typically be placed behind gates that you'll have to unlock to access them. Once you complete all the objectives given to you, all you have to do is interact with a green door. The player should be able to know where the door is as they spawn right next to it when they start the game. When the door is interacted with, the screen fades to green and the player is taken to the windscreen. I also programmed a sequence for when the player dies. Before, the game would just instantly cut to the game over screen. Now the player's character will use a special sprite, and the screen will fade to red. Pretty simple when all things considered. So that's all I have to show for now. Next I'll begin making basic music for the game and prepare to release the game on early access. If you want more info, the link to the devlog is in the description. Well, I'll see you guys later.